Hello everyone, I am Rusha Mukherjee, a student of Srinath Law College and an intern at Lexis and Company. Today I am going to discuss about Article 30. To start it, we know that there are two things. One is the state and another is the citizens. The state tries sometimes to infringe the rights of the citizens. And the purpose of the articles in the part 3 is to actually protect the fundamental rights of the persons or the citizens rather. The fundamental rights had to be protected from the arbitrariness of the state, and that was the main purpose of it. Article 13 has basically 4 subsections, and it tries to define many very important things for the purpose of part 3. For example, let us start with Article 13 part 1. Article 13(1). It tells about the pre-constitutional laws. To understand this, we have to understand that when did the fundamental rights come into existence? The fundamental rights came into existence on the day when the Constitution came into existence. That is on 26 January 1950. And there were many laws that were there in the pre-constitutional times also. So what to do with these laws after the Constitution came into place or existence? Actually, it is told by the Constitution that any laws that were enacted before the Constitution came into existence will be there, but as far as it is inconsistent with the fundamental rights, it will be void. Only to that extent. That is, we have to actually use a filter of fundamental rights. Any laws that would pass the test of fundamental rights will prevail, and all the other laws will become void. To understand this concept, we have to get into two terms: doctrine of severability or severability and the doctrine of eclipse. Doctrine of severability is actually separating. Separating what? Separating the laws that are infringing the fundamental right or is inconsistent with the fundamental right and the laws that are inconsistency with the fundamental right. All the laws that is inconsistency will prevail and the other laws will become void. For this purpose, we have to understand the doctrine of eclipse. We know that eclipse means actually hiding, and for this purpose, it also means hiding. All the laws that are inconsistent with the fundamental right will not become dead. It will actually be sleeping, and they can again be made active if due to some subsequent amendment in the Constitution these becomes at par with the fundamental rights. Now we come to the part of the post-constitutional laws, that is Article 13(2). It is told by Article 13(2) that the Parliament has no right to make any laws that will infringe the fundamental rights. But there were certain questions regarding it. The main question was that whether this part of the Article 13(2) that the Parliament cannot make laws, will that be applicable to non-citizens also? The court answered in Bhikaji versus State of MP that no, that will not be applicable to non-citizens. The fundamental rights is enjoyed only by citizens, and hence all the laws made by the Parliament after the commencement of the Constitution infringing fundamental rights will be applicable to the non-citizens because they actually do not have any fundamental rights, and all these laws hence is again subjected to the doctrine of severability and the doctrine of eclipse. Now Article 13(3) tries to define laws and laws in force. By laws, it means anything that has an effect on the life of the citizens. Anyways, it tries to influence the rights of the citizens. It may be any order, ordinance, bylaw, notification, regulations, anything that is actually affecting people's right and is in force at that time. It is important that it should have the force of law. Now we are coming to the point that this has two exceptions. What? That the personal laws do not come under law of under Article 13. And secondly, Article 13 will not take any administrative rule that is only a type of instruction or only a type of regulation that is not law. Now, coming to the fact that there was a new amendment of 24th Amendment that inserted 13(4), and it told that nothing in Article 368, nothing that is introduced by way of Article 368's amendment can be challenged in court. That is, judicial review of the court was actually restricted here. This also made certain cases in court. This gave rise to certain cases in court. And certain cases were, the most important cases were 3 of them. Out of which, the most important case that decided the ultimate answer was whether any amendment that is made by the Parliament comes under law. And this was answered in Keshavananda Bharati case. In Keshavananda Bharati case, the Supreme Court made it clear that the Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution whatsoever, but that should not violate the basic structure doctrine. And if it violates the basic structure doctrine, then such amendment cannot be done. And this was actually the position until now. And hence, Article 13(4) is completely valid, and it is true that no amendment under Article 368 can be challenged under Article 13. This is all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day and bye.